Hi, this is Roger, and I've been using PhotoReflect and Darkroom Pro since about 2005. And today I want to go through and show you how to do a layered template using PNG files. PNG files is something new that PhotoReflect has added recently so that you can do your extractions outside of the program and then bring those in. There's some advantages to doing that. If I'm photographing shiny instruments, a lot of times I get some green reflection in those instruments. Um, Maybe in a case like this, more along this bell, I might get some green reflection from the background into that, and then it would drop out this bell. So I've started using a gray background, and then I send my extractions off. It looks a little ugly right here in this preview as you're looking at these photos, but they'll turn out just fine when you drop them on the border. Let me select this one here. You can see that the hair area doesn't look so great, but when you drop it on the border, it looks fine. So I'm going to choose a border. This is where we're going to end up. I'm going to choose this memory mate, and it's going to drop the subject in here, and you can see her hair looks just fine now. Clarinet, it says clarinet here, and it dropped in the clarinets here. That just happens to be coincidental because that's the first one in my list. I have a list over here where I could select the groups. So let's say saxophone, for example. If this said saxophone, I'd come over here and select the saxophone group and it would drop it in up here. You can also notice the name, the show name, the group name. All of these things are associated with the data file that I've linked with this photo. That's a feature you can do with the Labtricity edition. It's not available in Darkroom Pro, but you do have trade-offs there. With my Labtricity edition, which I get with my PhotoReflect account, I cannot print locally. It has to be done at a lab. With Darkroom Pro, you can't do these data files, unfortunately, but you can print locally with DISUB printers and things like that if you're going to need that feature. Okay, how do we get to this point here? Well, I start by purchasing a photo or a photo border online from Third Creative or a number of other sources, and I make sure that they're layered Photoshop files when I'm buying them. And by that, you can see there's many layers here over here on the right defining this border. So I'll go through and I'll select the key layers that need to be on for, say, the background. So here's my background, and I'll turn on the layers that I need for that. I'll make any adjustments to this border I need. And then I'll create a layer comp, and that's done by hitting this plus key. After you select all your layers, hit the plus key, give it a name. I'm going to hit cancel now. And then it'll create a new name in this list. And then when you come down here and click on it, it'll turn on and off the appropriate layers as you had defined earlier. So now I have a layer comp set up for what I want the background to be. And it's got a dropout here. So I'm going to save this, do a file, save as, and then when I save that, I'm going to save it as a PNG file. PNGs allow you to have the dropout. Then I'm going to select the text boxes. Again, look back here at this sample. You'll see the text boxes are on top of the video here, or the photo here. So I need the text boxes as another layer that's on the top. So I create a layer comp for just the text boxes. I go through and just turn those on. I select this, and then I do a file, save as, and I create another file with a different name with the text boxes. Now I've got two files out there, two PNG files, this one and this one on my hard drive, and I'm going to use those in the border editor. So I'm going to come over to PhotoReflect. I'm going to go in the setup. This is the same for Darkroom. And I'm going to go in the proper template folder, and then wherever I want to be in the sandbox for now. That's where I play around. And I created one earlier, but I'm going to do the whole steps again. New. I'm going to create an 8x10 memory mate, so I'll say 8x10 mm for memory mate. Select the 8x10 here, make sure it's horizontal. I do 300. You need to have the 300 pixels per inch match what you had in Photoshop. So if you were set up in Photoshop for 300, this should be 300 as well. Okay, then you click OK. You got a blank. Now the first thing I'm going to do is add those section photos. I'm going to do it as graphics, not photo. There's one way in PhotoReflect that you may know of that you can do a teen lookup, or you can look up photos and it could be named something like teen. Well, to do that, you need to have each of the people, all the groups, subgroups, in separate folders in your library. And I don't do that. I put everything in one library folder, including all the groups. But so I do it this way: add graphic, and then I need to select graphic list and edit that graphic list. I'm going to call it sectionals. Whoops, sectionals. And then I need to add the photos for that. So I'm going to go out here and shift click and add the 4 sectional photos that I want. Open that up, and I got the 4 photos in there, and just click OK. This is these are JPEGs. There's no transparency, anything with those. So just leave it in the none up here at the top. I'm going to make this. I'm going to fix it so that they cannot be moved. I may want to actually make that floating at some point, but I'm going to fix it right now. They drop in. I'm going to position that temporarily kind of over here. I'm going to fix this later. Next thing I do is I'm going to add a graphic. This is going to be the actual border, the primary border. So open that. Now that is a PNG file, so you got to select this one that says PNG right here, and then you can say OK. That drops it in. I'm going to resize this just a little bit. I don't really want to see the legs at the bottom there too much. Okay. Now the next thing is I need to add the photo, the actual photo of the person. Now the photo is a JPEG. Remember, I did my extractions outside the program and I imported JPEGs, not PNGs. I imported PNGs because I did my extractions with pure photos. That's a fairly new feature that PhotoReflect has added, but they didn't put PNG in this line here. So this is the line you need to select, the chroma key, because basically what you've done is you've done a dropout. You've got a chroma key or you've got a transparent layer in there. So you need to select this one. I wish it said PNG as well, but it doesn't. So make sure you select this one and drop your photo 1. Here's your photo 1. It needs to be resized, and I'm going to place it over top of this paper over here. This will work for now. Normally I would tweak this up a little bit. Okay, the next thing is I need to add the layer of the text boxes. That's another graphic. Select that right here. Again, it's a PNG, so select this PNG. Boom, there it is. Drops it on top. You're ready to add some text. So this is how you use the text features, this photo. And then this is the number 1. It doesn't look like a 1, but that's the number 1 dot section. And that's because in my CSV file, I call it section. And you always put parentheses around these if it's variable text. So, I mean parentheses, you put percent signs around the text for variable text. So dot section is the heading in my CSV file for the name of the section, like trumpet or clarinet or whatever. So I put a dot section in here. And again, it's photo 1 because I'm referencing this photo right here. If I had 2 photos in there, then you might have photo 2 for some reason. Okay, so that's what I want there, and I want it to be white text. And I probably want it a little bit smaller than 32. Let's go down to 24. And there it is. Whoops, I got it at 90. So make this a 0 down here. And there we are. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to put it down here. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Whoops, I grabbed this thing, and I hate it when I do that. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and rename this show, because that's the heading for that one, the show name. May have to work on this a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to duplicate that. We're going to do last name and first name. This will be black text. And this will be last name. And I'm going to, normally I'd play around with this, get the fonts a little bit bigger or something. Whoops, I'm going to duplicate that. And normally I would change these fonts, but right now we're going to leave it alone. First, okay. And then one more, duplicate that. We're going to go up here and put a date next to those boxes. So that'll be year, just year. And I'll make that bigger. And normally I'd do a -90, but I'm going to show you a little bit of a bug and how to get around it. Okay, I did a -90, and normally I'd want to size this box. Whoops, I grabbed the photo. Let me get this one. Slide this over, and I'd want to resize this, but I can't. It squishes the whole thing. So you have to double click into that, put it back to 0, size it. Now double click again, go back in and do your -90 and put it in position. You just can't size those boxes when it's rotated. It's a little bit of a bug. Okay, got everything, and you save that as a new border. If you go over to Workshop, you're back to where we were here, where you can choose that border. I'm going to choose the one that I did earlier that's a little bit nicer, and you okay that. It's got a little bit different fonts here, and everything lines up. And you can see here, I can click on this, drag it around. I can use a scroll wheel, make it larger, smaller, whatever. Now that's a clarinet. If I happen to pick, oh, say a trumpet over here, it changed to trumpet because that's what's associated with her data file. But we don't have trumpet. It doesn't change the photo here automatically. I have to come over to this drop-down list, select the trumpets, and there's the trumpets. So that's how I start from a Photoshop purchased border here, and then create the files that I then import over into PhotoReflect. This border will also work online in a very similar fashion. It'll drop in the names, you can position and size the photo online on your storefront. So that's what I've got for templates. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll do another video on this data file and how that works. Talk to you next time.